I will tell you a slightly different story about Russia, because we just don't only have progress, we have some regress as well, and we have some needs to go. But I would start from the 2 points. First, in 1908 to 2008, Russia very intensively, very effectively reduced energy intensity by 42%. But before that, in the middle of the 19th century, Russia was the most energy efficient country in the world. So Russian oven in wooden house had efficiency of 33%. It was super efficiency comparing to any other heating system or steam engine or whatever at that time. We started very good, but after we came and transferred to the central planning economy, instead of going along the lines for other countries on the upper graph of this screen, you see this red one, that Russia was going up. So while other countries were having this energy intensity decline, we had energy intensity on increase. Only after we get back to the market economy, we have energy intensity started back to decreasing. So we are now trying to push this forward more. And exciting with this result of 42% reduction on energy intensity, we put another target for 2020 to reduce energy intensity by another 40%. But we are not quite close to this target yet, and there are a number of reasons why. If we are speaking about energy intensity, it's not the best indicator if we are going to understand how technologies are progressing. So to monitor technological progress, you need to energy intensity indicators. They're differently done in different countries, use different methodologies, but that graph on the top shows you this green part is showing you technological contribution to energy intensity decline. Sometimes it's even negatively contributes. So the rest is provided by structural changes. And if you speak about this only technological contribution, it's just 1% per year, so it's not very much as we wanted. Out of this 40%, 13.5% were intended to be provided by technology improvements up to 2020. The rest was to be delivered by structural changes in the future. But structural changes are substantial when we have dynamic economic growth, but our economic growth slowed down. That's why in recent years we have 4 years with energy intensity on increase rather than on decline. So now we have to accelerate energy efficiency policies, and in terms of policies, Russian Federation was trying to compress the time and buy the time, and the regulation and legislation which now in place were developed in very short time frame. So we started from 2009 and we developed one law on energy efficiency and about 90 pieces of regulation, some of them very contradictory, some of them poorly done. That's why we don't have only progress, but we have regress as well in some policies. And there is a brief list of policies. I will not comment on that. I just, some of them probably will be able to read on screen, some of those. I'll just say that this first line, and Benoit just said that continuous financing is really important. For 3 years, federal governments subsidized energy efficiency programs implementation in Russian regions. And last year, this year, sorry, it stopped this practice. And regions have to provide supplementary financing. And nowadays, they also are on decline on their financing. So if you have not sufficient financing, you don't progress much in that direction. So in some cases, we had some progresses. We have substantially reduced specific energy consumption per square meter of public buildings, of residential buildings. We have some progresses in industrial energy efficiency improvements. We have no progress in transportation improvement. And we have some problems still. We have weak policies in industrial sector. We have weak policies in transportation sector. And we also demonstrated that in sectors where we had policies and we were trying to really implement those policies, we reached successes. in sectors where we thought that without policies, improvements will be originated by their own, without specific intervention from the government, we have no much progress achieved. And the best illustrator of how much we are progressing is real financing, which is in support of energy efficiency. I'm sorry, these pictures are in Russian, and those first three columns are China, US, and European Union in colors, and red column is Russia. So you see this garlic negligible red column, so we didn't manage to raise sufficient amount of financing to support goals which we have established before ourselves. And that's really a very important issue, whether we are able to count and estimate how much money we spend on energy efficiency. Just today, we've heard three numbers from the EA. Present amount of global energy efficiency financing is $300 billion US, and from the World Bank in the last session we've heard number 150. So it's quite still very unclear item whether we have 300 or 150, and we have to be capable to better monitor how much we invest and with what efficiency we invest in energy efficiency, and to have better policy monitoring in terms of how much this policy is effective in terms of rising additional financing and how this additional financing is spent, whether effectively or not very effectively. Oops. So we need in other policies, we don't have much time to discuss in detail those. I just want to finish that in Russia, we have sort of waves of interest to energy efficiency. We had one wave in '98. We have another one in 2008. Now this wave is on decline. So we are in this wave environment. We need to have more constant, like Danish Energy Agency, as Benoit said, more constant support, more constant concentration and focus on energy efficiency, more steady process. And another issue which we have to keep in mind, and I want to finish with that, we were speaking this morning and afternoon about accelerators. We have a lot of moderators and breakers in our country. So we need also to understand, know how we can learn from those people who provide us advices in terms of how to accelerate, but we also need to know more how we can neutralize those moderators and breakers on our way. Thank you.